Hi everyone, welcome to Sorted with Sandy. Today I have Rafe with me and we're going to talk about end to end how to get a job at NHS and overall how to get procurement jobs in the UK. So welcome to the podcast Rafe, glad to have you here. Could you tell audience who you are, where do you work, what do you do?
So thank you, Sandeep, and thank you for introducing me and giving me this platform. So my name is Rafe. I am currently a Band 5 specialist at NHS, and I recently started this job, and I am based in Cardiff. So yes,
When did you get this job? How many interviews did you give at NHS?
right. So this was, I believe, my sixth or seventh interview in NHS, and I cancelled one of the interviews, and I think I got this job just a week before Christmas. I think it was 17th December or something.
Yep.
And I started this job in February.
So you got the offer in December and you joined in February first week.
Yeah.
Could you tell everyone when did you actively start applying for procurement roles and specifically NHS roles or civil services role?
Right. So I got serious about job application in later part of August last year. And after that, I was applying to many jobs a day. I don't remember the exact number, but I was definitely applying for many jobs. But thing was that I was applying to any and every job I could find. So there was literally no interviews, no shortlist, not even I was not even shortlisted for the first round. So after seeing some reels on Instagram and seeing some of your reels as well, I got to know that okay, if you are targeting a job in the UK, why don't you target for one or two job titles? So after having your discovery call, I think in late September or early October when we started.
Yep.
After that, I pinpointed my job search to procurement based roles, and even before that I was also applying for end-to-end supply chain roles, from supply chain coordinator to risk assessment, everything basically. Any job that had the word supply chain in the whole job description, I was applying for it, and I was getting nowhere. So after October, I think just after our call, I got two interviews in the NHS, and I never looked back since.
So you got two interviews in October
Mm-hmm.
after our call, and by December third week or fourth week, you had your offer. So it is possible to get a job within 3 months in the UK, provided you know what roles you are targeting.
Yes, exactly. Provided you know what roles you are targeting, and you can turn yourself off emotionally and not get attached to any one job application. Because I remember the first NHS interview that I got, it was a band 4 role, and it was something that I have been doing for a long time. I was a customer assistant, right? And after that, I was a management trainee, right? So that job was a procurement customer service officer, right? So I had a job experience in procurement, and I was doing customer service for a long time. So that job was actually the perfect, as per my opinion, that time, that job was perfect for me. So I was really, really attached to that one, and it was my first ever job interview since I came in UK, right? So when I got the call from them that unfortunately you are not selected for this role, I was heartbroken because first of all it was my first ever interview, and I was really hoping that I am going to get it because I talked a lot in that interview. That interview was supposed to be 45 minutes. It went on for an hour. But looking back at that particular interview, I laugh at myself because the things that I said in that interview. My God. But yes, so I found out that not just putting terms and keywords in your application, but researching them and researching how you apply those kind of approaches in your work, or those how you know about those procedures and all the rules around that. That is the thing that makes a difference.
Okay, I think that's a good point because the point that you raised about researching the skills that you're putting in your CV and the role requires in advance so that once you get the interview, you're already prepared and up to speed with what they're going to ask. I think that's a good takeaway. I would like to ask Rafe, from October to December, how many interviews did you get? out of which how many were from NHS, how many were from universities, how many were from other corporations?
So I can't tell you the exact figure, but I can give you a very sharp ballpark one. Six or seven from October, 6 or 7 NHS interviews. Then one interview I got from a university. One interview was a council interview, and 3 interviews were civil services, including the one that I got 2 or 3 days ago, for which I applied in on 12th December. I remember
Yeah.
this day because I texted you about this. And I believe 3 or 4 were from the companies, and 2 or 3 were from recruitment agencies, which I never heard back from. So let's not include that one,
Okay, we'll not
right?
include those. So you got 15 interviews, six from NHS, three from civil services, and then six other from different companies.
Mhm.
And I think when you joined the program, as you said, you were targeting generic supply chain roles. And I remember our discussion around checking what your MSc was in, what your past experience was in, and then going for CIPS.
Yeah.
So, could you tell me if CIPS played a role in getting you more interviews or getting you highlighted?
Right. So I remember this very fondly because this was the one of the most important things that you told me. Just after our discovery call, when you directed me that procurement should be your way because you have experience in that, you are kind of working in. So after your discovery call, I thought, okay, let's put this thought in the back burner and let's research about some roles. So I always knew that if I get a government job, the chances of me getting a sponsorship would be really high. So when I was researching for all the jobs in council, NHS, or civil services, I one word was highlighted: CIPS, because every single job they were asking for levels of CIPS from level 2 till level 6, which is MCIPS. So I thought, okay, I need to get this. So I paid for it. I got this, and I thought, I think in retrospective, apart from taking your mentorship thing, that was the second best purchase that I did last
Investments,
year.
yeah.
Yes, that was the second best investment I did because even in this job that I'm currently doing, everyone looks at you differently if you have an MSIPS,
Yeah.
because one of the things that was specifically mentioned was that while hiring from outside, MSIPS is the thing which procurement professionals do see in your profile at the first round of sifting, I think,
Yeah.
and that is the most important thing. So I believe for anyone searching for jobs, I believe to validate your previous experience, if you are bringing your experience from from your home country, trying to validate your experience with help of some certifications that are accredited or maybe that are acknowledged in UK
Yeah.
is one of the best things that you can do. And people should look at it in a very broad perspective, because you are investing 300, 400 pounds today, but it is going to give you more than 10 times returns, right?
I
And
think more than 100 times
more than
return.
100, actually.
Yeah.
Yes,
So, and you
definitely.
don't get those kind of returns in 3 months anywhere around the world. No company,
No,
no crypto can give you those
yeah,
returns.
yeah. Because I mean, speaking for me, I did actually got more than 100 times
Yeah.
returns. Yes, definitely.
And okay, so one point to note here is that getting accredited from a chartered body in your field gives your CV a boost. And if
Hmm.
you streamline your profile, align it to a certain role, and then you have a chartered certificate there, your CV is bound to get shortlisted.
Yeah.
But Rafi, you mentioned something very interesting that you got six NHS interviews. A lot of people, when they ask me about NHS jobs, they say, oh, we want the job, but we are not getting shortlisted. I want to understand from you, what is the process that you were following and how were you framing your answers? How were you positioning yourself in NHS um, applications? Because I remember there was a time in December itself wherein I think you had four NHS interviews in December, and before that also around 9th and 10th October you had two consecutive interviews back to back, and then civil services interviews also. And these interviews don't require a CV. So what was your approach there?
Personally, I believe that getting an NHS or a civil service interview is way, way easier than getting an interview in any of the private sector, because it's like I feel that in NHS or in any government sector, they say to us that okay, here is the job description. We want you to come to the interview because we are giving you 1,500 words, or sometimes it's even more than that, to to explain to us that why you should be eligible for this role. Whereas even your CV don't doesn't have 1,500
Yep.
words, right? No CV has 1,500 words
Right.
when we are trying to get our CV turned out to one
Yep.
page, right? So, what I did was the first ever interview that I got for NHS, I actually drafted my application, and it took 2 days for me to draft it. But I would not recommend this because I actually wasted the second day. And what I did was I looked for keywords. For example, if they want me to, if they have said in the job description that the person should be numerate, articulate, and problem solver. So don't just say that, okay, I have done problem
Yeah.
solving because this was the job that I did problem solving in. I am very numerate. I'm very articulate. They know that. I mean, that's the most generic and the worst thing you can do to your job application, because you are using those words,
Yep.
you are using the word limit, but you're not proving anything. So what I tried to do when the keywords were as broad as they were, I used some kind of a real life situation from my previous job, or my job that was actually in procurement, and I tried to explain to them how I display those characteristics.
Interesting.
For example, if there was this one question in one of the jobs that we want the person working for this role to be very skilled in customer service resolution.
Yep.
So I was working in Morrisons that time, right? So I tried to explain to them that how when a click and collect order went downhill, how when the customer was abusing us, how I tried to handle that situation. There are two kinds of job applications in NHS. One is where there is no word limit and they give you spaces to fill all these four criterias, and the other applications are ones where you have 1,500 words, right? So I personally find it easier to score an interview with the first one, because you have no word limit virtually. And even if I am applying for a job which has 1,500 words, the other one, I try to bifurcate my application into four sections, and I specifically write knowledge, then the part, then skills, then the part. So basically, I title my paragraphs so that because at the back end, when an NHS person shortlists your application, they try to look for the keywords in your application and the keywords in the job description. So if they have seen that, okay, this person is articulate. How is this person articulate? Okay, check. So that's one of your points. And the most important thing the most important process that I followed was, after the first first interview from first application from NHS was rejected, I chased the person that why was my job, why was my application not so shortlisted. So they told me that this is how and shortlisting at NHS works. So then I reverse engineered it, and that's how I started getting job interviews.
Awesome. So what I could gather from this is that yes, you have to use those keywords which are there in person specification, essential criteria, preferred qualification. But at the same time, what matters more is you have to show evidence that
Yes.
how did you apply that skill somewhere. It cannot be just that in this role I have used this. No, you have to explain in this role what was the situation, what was the task that time, and what action you took to drive the result. And that's how, using the star method, you can elaborate on that particular skill and then address it. And that's a
Yeah.
short way of getting shortlisted in
Hmm.
NHS.
Yeah.
Perfect. And do you think that essential criteria one needs to have all of it, or if you don't have essential, you have preferred, you have high chance? How does that work? Do you know anything about that?
Yes. So essential criteria, you have to have it. And desirable criteria is basically, it's good if if you have it, it's not bad if you don't have it. But what I found was, if you can, for example, let's just cook up a job description and say that if they want MSIPs in desirable criteria, you can also say, while addressing that very point, you can also say that while I don't have an MSIPS, I am working towards it, or maybe I have this much years of experience as this role, which is equivalent to this,
Interesting.
certification. So they are more than happy to accommodate it. But I feel I have found this, that you have to have all the points that are mentioned in the essential criteria.
Interesting. Interesting that you mentioned that, because that brings me to my next question, which is you went from working in Morrisons to working in NHS. This is the two-part question. First part is, did you use any example from your Morrisons job in your NHS application?
Yes, for customer service questions, definitely, because Morrison's retail company, and for any problem solving, working under pressure kind of situations, surely. But I always, if there are any procurement related questions, I never use more. I did not even mention Morrison's, because that was not the
Required.
role I. Yes, that was not the role that I wanted to be in, or that's not relating to procurement as such, right? So sure, in commercial awareness, problem solving, sure, I would use that. But I also made sure that if I'm mentioning anything about Morrison's, I would also mention something about procurement. These how these skills are transferable to this role, because one of the interviews from which I got rejected, the feedback was that you were the perfect candidate for this role, but we are going with a person who had more transferable skills than you.
Interesting.
So yeah, so I asked them. My follow up question was that I did mention all the transferable skills. Why was not shortlisted then? So they told me that yes, you did mention all their transferable skills, but you never you never explained to us how they were transferable. But the other person did.
Again, it comes down to evidence. Like, you can't
Yes,
just say
yes.
that this I've done this in this role, so it is
Evidence, and
evidence.
I believe continuous improvement is the most important thing. I mean,
Interesting.
I learned it the hard way. I won't want any, I will
Hmm.
never want anyone to learn it
Yeah.
the hard way. So that's the thing.
Interesting. So that was the first question. And the second question is, working in retail is very tough job. It is very time consuming. It consumes your mental bandwidth as well as your physical energy. So how did you balance giving so many interviews, 15 interviews in 3 months, at the same time working with Morrisons? Because that's one struggle which all international students face. How do they balance their work life to give more interviews and to get those streamlined applications?
Personally, what I did was I used to get up at 5. I because my shifts were usually started at 7. So I used to get up at 5. I gave up my morning showers because because I had to got free up time for my job application. So I started applying for jobs, at least 2 or 3 jobs before I go to the office. Then during my breaks, because I was a team leader by that time, and I got 1.5 hour breaks every day. So in my breaks, I used to have lunch and apply to at least one job. After I came back home, I knew that the moment I step inside my room, I am not going to do anything. But if I'm still in the kitchen or still in the drawing room, I am going to at least
Be
apply to
active.
2, 3 jobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I try to apply for at least 8 jobs a day. And I won't recommend it, but I just switched my brain off, and just because I knew that if I'm thinking about all the struggles that I'm going through, all the things that are going bad in my life, I won't be able to fix all those things, because I would that might be a downward kind of spiral.
Yeah.
So I just locked myself in, and I was like, no, I need to get a job, whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
Interesting. So you divided your time into slots. You applied to job before going to your Morrison's job, and then during the lunch hour also, if possible, you applied to a job or two, and then coming back before entering your room, you applied to a few more jobs, and
Mhm.
you stood logged in, and basically you followed the process rigorously for 3 months, and you believed in the process, and it started giving you results from October itself. So that is, I think, one key takeaway for everyone, that don't get disheartened just by looking at rejection emails, because those are part of the process. And what you should be logged in should be at the process, that this you have to continuously improve your applications,
Yes,
ask for
just
feedback.
just imagine your life after you got get this job. That's
Was
the
was
only.
it worth it? Were those 3 months of effort,
Def-
pain?
Definitely worth it, because my Saturdays and Sundays are a dream now. So
Nice.
those were definitely worth it.
Nice. Okay, I would like to know what made you take up external help from anyone?
Because I was basically clueless. I was applying to jobs, graduate schemes, everything, and I was still clueless. Why is basically why is no one looking at my applications? Why is my short CV not getting shortlisted? And I was a person who I was a blind person in this race basically. So that's why I thought, okay, I might need some help. So then, and after you start applying to jobs, because it is always in the back of your mind, your Insta feed, your TikTok feed, all comes down to that, right?
Yep.
So that is where, fortunately, I came across your account and I started following you. And I think I had that £5 webinar that you
Yeah.
were giving. That is the first time I think we interacted with each other, right? And that's when I thought, no, this person is speaking not what you want to listen, but what needs to be said. And that's when I thought, no, I gotta get the mentorship course from you.
Awesome. And how was your experience? Could you tell people how do we work? Because a lot of times people think that mentorship is about that I will be applying to jobs on your behalf, or it is something magical, or I will do something, I will make some connections for them, or I will get them interviews straight away. People have wild expectations, but I want to be really honest with everyone. So could you tell everyone watching this, how does it work?
It basically works like you have a very intelligent chat GPT with you that basically prepares you for everything, but won't do things for you unless you are doing things for yourself. Because me, when I was not with you, no interviews, CV was not getting shortlisted, nothing. Me with you after first month, CV is getting shortlisted, everything. But I was also doing, researches, everything. And you told me that you need to research because after the first week, after the first meeting, I thought, okay, I might not to need to do much, in this. But after the second meeting, I realized, no, we need to do our work as well. And if let's say you were applying to jobs on my behalf, uh, my CV would definitely get shortlisted in that case. But you cannot give interviews in my place, right? You cannot be sitting in interviews with me. And even if, let's say, by some chance I got that job, you won't be the one, working with me because somewhere down the line, whatever research that I did with and whatever research we did for the interview preparations that did help in the job because from the first day you need to be on your feet because if you're not getting a sponsorship and sponsorship is maybe in the pipeline for you, so research is the only thing that takes you to that part. And mentorship is kind of you are leading the way, but we are the one who needs to walk, right? You won't be the one, okay, come hop on the back and I'll just run. We both will run. That's not how it works.
Absolutely. That's why I tell everyone that mentorship is not a magic pill. It will require 20 hours of effort minimum every week. And that effort
Exactly.
could either be making applications or giving interviews or preparing for interviews or upskilling yourself. And luckily in procurement, it's quite feasible to upskill, especially if you've done MSc in supply chain or something related to procurement, because the overall concepts remain same. Now, Rafe, what is your plan for your career? Sponsorship, obviously everyone is looking for a sponsored job, so that will happen in due course of time as per performance and everything. But where do you see yourself in next 3 to 5 years as a procurement professional?
Right. So in the next 3 years, I definitely see myself in a managerial role or a senior procurement role. After that, after 5 years, I definitely see myself getting an MBA.
Nice.
Because that is one of the things that I have always had my heart on. Because I love to learn new things. I love to be in a university and be in college. And this is one of the things that I always dreamed about even before my bachelor's, that I want to get an MBA. It's not a rat race kind of thing that, okay, you have done engineering, you gotta do your MBA. No, that's a knowledge point for me. And after that, surely I do see myself progressing in procurement because I believe this is where my heart lies. Because it is a perfect blend of things that I have always been doing. So yeah, I mean, maybe this might be a generic answer, but
No, it is
that's
not
all I have.
actually, because a lot of times people don't even know what they like.
Hmm.
And here you are telling everyone that procurement is what you like. So that is first step of clarity in your career. And I think that is commendable, because if I ask anyone what do you want to do, they would like to say, I want to be a manager, or I want an office job, and I want a management job. That's the answers that I usually get.
Hmm.
And but when I ask them what do you want to manage, so then they say I want to manage people and everything, and I was like, but you have to start somewhere. So
Yeah.
will it be procurement, sales, marketing, finance? What function will you pick? And people are
Hmm.
clueless. But it's good that you have a structured plan for next 3 to 5 years. You know what industry, what sector you gonna be working for. You know what is your next upskilling plan, which is amazing. I would like to ask one last question around the research part that you mentioned earlier. Did your research require a lot of time throughout the week? And secondly, uh, did it change something in you? Did it make you more confident? Did it make you more serious about your career? Did you realize something which was missing, or was it just something like doing an MSc?
It is definitely not something like doing an MSc because you have to be true to yourself when you do a research.
Yes,
Because at the end, no one is going to mark you, right? And at the end, if you don't do your research right in the right manner, you are the one who will be definitely be rejected. You know, if you are not lucky. And as per the first point that you asked about time, I would say it depends. Totally depends on the person. If you are dedicating 1 day a week for your research, it's definitely going to be really, really long. But if you do it in incremental small steps, every day, half an hour, every day, 1 hour, which is very manageable. You can all anyone in this world can definitely loosen up 1 hour of their life,
true.
to do research for the job they want, for the person they want to be.
Hmm.
I mean, you got to live your dreams, right? And at the moment that I started with your program, I was doing around 38, 40 hours a week. And still then I was able to, get loosen up 1 hour of my day every day to do research, except Saturdays and Sundays. And even during December, throughout our mentorship program, I think I never did less than 30 hours. And still I was able to manage and do my research. And I believe that motivation is the one thing that your motivation, you are the only one responsible for that. And research definitely gave me confidence, because in the interviews, I knew what I was talking about. Even if I have never worked in procurement, I did actually work in procurement for a year with a healthcare company. But that was not very hands-on. That was only in the data analysis, and I was working for my dissertation with that company. So it was not very hands-on kind of a way. But I still, after my research, and after my research, some of the points which were not very clear in my mind, what I did during my dissertation, they became actually clear in my mind after a year, So that is where research really helped me, and I believe that that is the only your CV will only get you interviews, but your research will is the thing that will get you your job,
Awesome.
and which will help you clear your probation, hopefully.
Yeah, it will. And I think it will also pave the right way for your career, because when you invest your time and you research something from yourself without any external pressure, you genuinely start loving that thing, enjoying it. And when you see the results coming out of it, especially a good salary every month and a decent job at a very big institution, then it pays you more, and then it gives you that kick to even learn more, invest more time. And I think that cycle, starting that cycle is very important. A lot of times I see students are just stuck in retail jobs, and thinking short term to pay monthly bills or pay off that loan. Lastly, Rafe, what advice would you give to someone who is working in a retail store right now in UK and has around 15 to 18 months left on their graduate visa? How can they get a full time job? If you have to explain it into 3, 4, 5 steps, what would be those steps, or what is that one piece of advice that you would give to all the students?
The one piece of advice I would give is that be true to yourself, because uh, I very distinctly remember in our mentorship program, there was one specific thing that I did wrong, and I have never admitted it to anyone other than myself, and I have never even mentioned it to you. Was that during the dry spell, when there were no interviews, what I did was, in if I'm applying to 10 jobs a day, I was so consumed in that process that I was not cross-checking my CVs while I was applying to. I was just getting a CV from ChatGPT and I applied for it.
Yeah.
And I think that went for 2 weeks.
And
So that dry spell didn't score me any interviews for a month. So then in the third week, I was like, okay, no, I need to stop. There is something wrong going on. Then I gave myself a reality check that no, this is the. I mean, I am paying for mentorship. I am paying with my time. So I thought that why am I lying to myself? And that is when I after this third from this third week I had 2 weeks off, right? And after that 2 weeks off, I was gonna go home, but I canceled my ticket. I was like, no, first job, for second sponsorship, then home. Then the fourth week, boom, 12 interviews.
yeah,
That was the
I
thing,
remember.
because I mean, yeah, this is the thing that I always tell people, even my friends who are trying, stuck in their dead end job and stuck in retail job, working at IKEA somewhere. I always tell them, dude, just be true to yourself. I can only tell you what to do. I can only advise you. You could also just advise me that, Rafi, you need to do this. Rafi, you need to do your research. But I can't expect you as well to, because you are also working, I can't expect you to just do everything for me,
Yep.
right? Exactly, because the only thing that I own is my time, and that is, I mean, I need to make every second count, and that is what I feel that every international student should, understand. Not just know, they need to understand this.
Yeah.
And to the other part of your question, the steps. The first step definitely would be pinpoint to what job roles you want. Do not make a fool of yourself applying to 10 kind of job roles. And second is research about your job. What kind of job are you applying to for? Maybe work on your soft skills, communications. Small talk, because coming from a country where we do not do small talk, you really need to work on that. So yes, pinpoint yourself, research, and be a good communicator. That's the 3 points that are really really important.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that, Rafe. And I hope a lot of students will get a lot of value from this conversation and will be able to course correct and target specific job titles which align well with not just their course, but also their skill set, their past experience, and then do those custom applications and also put in hard work in researching about the skills. And as you saw from Rafe's example, it is absolutely possible to score 15 interviews and at the same time securing a job within 3 months. Rafa is an example that it is possible. It has been done recently. He has joined NHS in February first week, and if he can do it, I believe anyone can do it because everyone is coming to UK at a similar life stage, and all of people have similar stories. Everyone is working in retail, so was Rafa. So the question here is, what's stopping you? And I wish you guys all the best, and thank you, Rafa, for being on the podcast. And I look forward to your sponsorship journey as well. And then we'll do another podcast.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.